In life, you either make moves or make excuses. It's simple as that. Whenever I hear people talk about their aspirations, their goals, and things they want to achieve, it's either you do it or you don't. But at the same time, I feel like as people, we're designed by nature to pick the path of least resistance. And I think it's a way to guard our mental health and our sanity in case that we fail at something, we're not too hard on ourselves. So we're always gonna pick the easier option out of the two and avoid the most difficult one.
What's up?
Where you
I'm at my Airbnb with Uncle Kevin. We're shooting a video.
at? What's your baby video?
You want to shoot a video with me?
I want to talk to you.
You want to talk to me?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk. What you want to talk about? You watch Naruto without me? How? How you get on my Netflix?
Bye-bye.
I love you. Bet. All right, whenever you're ready.
And I remember, like, in my journey in 2018, man, I was working as a mental health therapist. I was just like starting to get ideas about, escaping the rat race, having financial freedom. And I remember I was at work listening to a podcast, and J. Cole was speaking, and he was talking about, how much is your time worth? And he was saying, yo, is my time worth, 10, 12, 15 bucks an hour? Why is it that some people, they can make $1,000, in a minute, and they don't have to work 40 hours a week? And that right there started having me thinking, like, how much is my time worth? Time is the most valuable asset that I have, but I'm trading it, for a number, right? And like 30, 40 years goes by, I don't get my time back. So it started having me thinking about, okay, how can I better maximize my time and profitability with money? And I started looking at skills. I was doing research on Google, YouTube, how can I get a side hustle? How can I make the most money? And at the time, looking back, the perspective was wrong, but as you learn and grow and mature as a person, you eventually find your path. And the first thing I discovered at the time was like flipping and reselling, right? So I'd go to my 9 to 5. Well, at the time I worked at a mental hospital 7 to 7, so 7 a.m. to 7 p. I'd get off, and then for the rest of the night from like 8 to midnight, I'd stay up and study about how to become a better reseller. Eventually I dabbled into sneaker reselling. I invested like 1 or 2 grand into buying a bot, and I got all the different the boxes and the tape, and I was going hard. And within 3 to 6 months, I was making an additional 15 to 2 grand per month of income, and I was just saving it up and reinvesting in that business. And doing that, I eventually got burnt out because I was spending all my extra time being a slave to this business model. So I figured, all right, let's keep learning some new skills. Eventually I dabbled into freelancing, learning how to do like Google, Facebook, and TikTok ads for small businesses. I mean, I didn't know what I was doing at first, but I was very confident, right? So I would go to small businesses, I would run their Facebook ad campaigns, their Google PPC ads for them to help them get leads for their businesses. So I'd work with like roofing companies, painting companies, plumbers, whoever was willing to pay me at the time like $500 just to run their ad campaigns, right? And I did this for like a year straight. I'd work my 7 a.m. 7 p job, get off, check my campaigns, flip my sneakers, and just rack up and save my bread. And eventually, man, I went to work one day. I had a really bad day at work. I was working with a schizophrenic client who had like a mental breakdown. And they attacked me and like lunged at me. We had a code, and I got pretty scratched up. And at the time, I was dealing with a lot of stress. I'm dealing with like personal problems, my profession. I'm having these thoughts of wanting to quit my job, but the fear the other side made me doubt doing it. And that J. Cole interview came back to my mind. How much is my time worth? At this point in time, my side hustles were making more money than my actual 9 to 5 gig. And that instance, that day was like the final straw for me. I'm like, you know what, man? Why am I doing this? I'm putting myself in jeopardy. I'm really depressed at this job. I'm exhausted. I'm not getting sleep at night. I feel really bad about myself. So I took a leap of faith, right? Quit my job, just got up and left, didn't go back. Probably burned that bridge, which I wish I didn't, looking back. But I just went all into the side hustles, right? And I was making a good 5K, 6K, profit per month. And being a young guy in your 20s, listen, I didn't have money management skills. I wasn't financially mature or understood how to deal with this amount of money that was coming in. So I was just wasting it, going on lavish trips, buying sneakers, blowing it on stupid stuff. As fast as it came in, it went out. And at the end of 2018, beginning of 2019, you know, I was living off the high life of making money with my businesses. But what I came to learn is sometimes you have high months, sometimes you have low months, and you have to have reserves and savings. I made an investment at the beginning of that year. It didn't go as well, and money wasn't coming in like it was the months prior. I quit my job, so I came to a predicament. I could no longer afford the lifestyle that I was living. I had to leave my apartment. I had to move out with one of my relatives, and thank God for family, man, because family, man, without them, I don't know where I'd be right now. So my uncle, you know, let me stay in his house, gave me a room in the garage. It was very humbling. You know, I had an air mattress to sleep on. I had to put all my stuff in storage. I had to start from scratch. You know, my wife at the time was pregnant with our son. I mean, I went through a lot of just ups and downs and emotions because, you know, here I am as a man who's independent, self-sufficient. Now I have to submit to another man's authority in his home, follow his rules, live by his guidelines, live by his curfew. And it was humiliating, but also like humbling at the same time. But man, thank God for those moments. Thank God for those lows in life because it helps you grow and learn, you know what I'm saying? Like pressure makes diamonds, right? If you don't crack under pressure, come out a diamond on the other side. And for me, man, this time I had a lot of things going through my mind, but thankfully, you know, I had some money saved up. And I started investing in mentors, right? Started investing in people that knew about financial literacy, that knew about how to actually grow businesses. And luckily, I had a cousin who was good with creatives, and then me, I was good with the ads. So we figured, let's start a marketing agency. So we started a marketing agency. And the funny thing is, looking back, you know, we had all the soft skills, like we had the hustle, determination, just the passion, the fire, but we lacked time management, energy management, how to manage a team, how to delegate, how to have company culture. And you know, like I said, I'm thankful for these hard times because it took us 18 months before we had a high ticket paying client. We had to figure out what our niche was, had to figure out our messaging. I mean, we spent like $5,000 on a website, but it got no traffic. We spent money on graphics, making all kinds of videos, but then our messaging was off, so people could resonate with our messaging. And just through trial and error, we didn't give up. And that's what I was saying earlier in this video, that, you know, people choose the path of least resistance. And sometimes you gotta force yourself to choose the path of most resistance because you're consciously not seeing results. Something has to push and drive you to get there, you know what I'm saying? And we weren't seeing results. Like, we were literally hustling just to keep, you know, a roof over our heads. I was in a very unlikely situation that I didn't enjoy, but I just kept going. I kept being consistent. I kept applying myself. I kept failing, and I kept learning and adapting. And eventually, you know, we figured out how to get the proper messaging. We figured out how to speak to clients. The clients care about results. They don't care about all the fancy stuff. They care about you getting them from point A to point B. Simple as that. Like I said, either you make moves or make excuses. There's no other ifs or buts about it. And once we figure out how to properly tailor that to a message, we launched, you know, the new campaigns. We rebranded our company. We made this really cool anchor video called Mini Hats, and that really opened up the doors for us. In 2020, going to 2021, we were getting so many leads and so many referrals that we couldn't keep up that we had to slow things down. And that's when I hit my lowest point in 2021 when COVID was at its highest. I lost my grandmother. I lost my wife's grandmother, and I lost my stepfather. And the thing about entrepreneurship, you know, they tell you to go hard, to have this hustle culture, have this, you know, this tough grit mentality, but it's like, end of the day, I wasn't taking care of myself. I knew if I took time to process their deaths, that I would have a breakdown, and I couldn't stop. You know, I had these goals in my business. So I put my personal feelings aside. I buried everything down deep. I just kept grinding and going and going. And I remember one day, man, I was at the gym, and anyone that knows me, my stepdad was someone that taught me to be fit, because I was a real skinny kid growing up, real scrawny. And when I got into sports, he helped me, you know, put on some muscle. And I was doing an exercise he taught me, which is the Arnold press. And you get the dumbbells, you press and you reverse up. And in the midst of that workout, I was just reminiscing about, you know, him and how he meant to me as a father figure, seeing him how he treated my mom and my little brother's right. I just busted out crying, man. Just picture, you know, 6'2" black guy in the middle of the gym, just boo-hooing. And people looking at me like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? What's going on? And everything that I had buried up until that moment and that point in time just came out. I broke down. I broke down bad because here I am, you know, a successful business owner, successful, you know, person, making the most money I've ever made in my life. And I was depressed. I felt so cold, so empty. The people that really impacted me to be at this point in life, they weren't here to enjoy it with me anymore. Like, my grandmother was a vital person. She was the first entrepreneur I ever knew. And I seen her hustle, you know, as an immigrant from Haiti to bring all 8 of her children here. And they're thriving now in the US, thriving. And she came and see me in my prime. He's gone, right? Alzheimer's took her, and ultimately COVID took her away from me. My stepdad was a real healthy person, worked 2 jobs, 3 jobs most of his life, had complicated health issues, and COVID took him too. And then my wife's grandmother, you know, she was a very impactful spiritual person in my life. And then pneumonia and COVID took her. I was in a really dark place. And thankfully, man, I had a good community of good, you know, business peers and close friends that I could open up to as a man, you know what I'm saying? To talk about my emotions, talk about my struggles, help me navigate through these feelings, you know? Community is a big thing as an entrepreneur. That hustle culture, isolation crap, that's dumb. That's stupid as heck, because as people, we thrive for communication and contact. And I mean, I'm thankful, you know, I had good people around me to help me bring me up, because if I didn't, man, I would have made it to 2021, going into 2022. I started doing things like grounding, doing biohacking, getting blood tests to see, you know, how my hormones are doing, and also working on trauma so I can be present as a father, as a husband, as a business owner, as a son, as a brother, because I was broken at that point in time and I had to heal myself to be whole again. It comes down to knowing what you want to do, having an action plan, but also understanding you got to take care of yourself. Self-care is primary, because if you're a broken person, your business is going to be broken. Like, yourself is an extension of your business. So if you're not doing well, it's eventually going to fall into your business, and that's going to break apart. My name is Ricardo Florenville. This is my story. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I just want to say, man, if you guys are thinking about going out there, go get it. Bet on yourself. Don't settle for an income that, you know, someone else gives you. Get it your own. Either you make moves or make excuses. There's no ifs or buts. Either you do it or you don't. Y'all be blessed. What up?